Game has dropped. We are on to game 3 of this could possibly be the last game of the day.
Well, let's get to it then, shall we?
Let's get to it here as we head to Tears of the Desert. Here on the north spawn in the green is Cats. Zath, talk me through the Cats lineup. What do we got cooking?
So Cats, not being able to bring a Conde, has decided to bring a Clausewitz.
Oh.
And then they've got, to round out their cruisers, a Petropavlovsk and a Venezia. Their destroyers are Elbank, Kleber, that's unique upgrade, Shimakaze unique upgrade, and an additional Elbank. What do we have opposing them for 3X, looking to win this tournament on this game?
3X trying to seal the deal, and walk home with the prize money after this game. They're looking at Faster Motions Conde, Blood Legends Moskva, and a 5 destroyer lineup, Zath. Viles Druid, Kenimod's Druid. Not identical builds, but very close. I've got a Mugu's Elbing. And then I've got Tramamoto's Ragnar and Marcello's Ragnar.
That's right.
You know, I said last game, you know, the destroyer play out of 3X has been absolutely devastating. How much more they're getting out of those boats, and now it's like they've leaned even harder into that strength when I look at this lineup.
And I think we're going to see that here. Yeah, if you're 3X, you know, you could put one cruiser each side. Interesting, they're throwing the Moskva into the middle, which makes sense. It gives them the flexibility to rotate as necessary. If you're Cats, you've got 3 cruisers. Do you spread them out, or do you put them together in some way, shape, or form? What do you think, Raptor?
I think you got to take the Petro and play defense at the off cap, which seems to be what they're doing as they slide the Petro towards A. The Venezia, I think they're taking for shock value at A. In other words, when I pick something up, whatever destroyer it is, I want to murder it because SAP is really good at that. And then they're taking the Clausewitz the other way just because, well, he's the other cruiser. Also because he's not very quick, right? German heavies are fairly well armored, lots of guns, pretty good reload, not very quick to get off the mark to get anywhere. So you can kind of take him over here, let him linger around C, and he can play defense, serviceably, let's say.
Absolutely.
No battleships in this game. Haven't had that in a while.
And yet, Petro going into the middle makes sense. Where he's going, he's going to be able to cover stuff with radar. We'll see if they're able to make something work out of that. But it does feel like the Clausewitz side for Cats is their off flank. I think they're going to try to contest over at A. Could be interesting.
Yuka's Kleber draws out Marcello, who immediately takes a 10,000 point hit from the Venezia.
Right. You were just talking about that shock value. He's in shock.
The Venezia he didn't even know was there. Warship, more Venezia.
Took some hits.
Lala took a chunk there. Venezia's follow-up salvo not nearly as impactful. Notably there, the Ragnar used his radar. Marcello did, but the Petro, Steel Shadow, did not.
Correct. That's the benefit of that unique upgrade Kleber. Brings that concealment down. And now he's going to just make Revolution straight for A-cap, figuring, okay, well, we've backed him off.
Yep.
See if that works.
Bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out for them.
Right? And you're right. They obviously know that Steel Shadow hasn't used that radar. So
he is like, if you pull up the hit alt, you can see that Kleber is like kissing the edge of the Moskva radar range. The other thing the other thing I love about the Venezia in this position, when Venezia didn't have a destroyer to shoot at, he could just farm this Moskva.
Which is exactly what he's doing right now. Remember those
Venezia
shells?
Yeah, so good against the Russian armor schemes.
Just chews up 50 millimeters.
Yep.
Which is exactly what Blood Legends Moskva has all around him.
They're trying to push Blood Legend back, I think, to give Yuka a gap through which he can pick up the A-cap.
Take a moment and look at the other side. Kenimod actually sailing right through the middle.
I saw Kenimod come right through mid, and I thought, what is he going to do? And they've turned and pushed him towards C. as they are heavily focusing the Clausewitz, which honestly makes kind of sense because he can't sustain it for very long.
Yep. Kenny just holding down left mouse button, fire hosing, and getting the C cap for free right now.
No other
To add
ships.
insult to injury.
Yeah, no other ships over there to do anything about it. Miasma's Elbing starts getting in, but maybe get a reset. Nope, not even getting a reset. Nope. BYF's Clausewitz over 30 seconds from his next heal, and I'll be shocked if he lives to see it.
Well, his DCP is also unavailable.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, between the Condi HE and the Druid AP, I'll be shocked if he lives to see his next heal.
Yep. And on top of that, too, the Elbing next to him, Misama, does not have smoke available to save his buddy. So this is basically it for the Clausewitz.
Well, he may yet make it. 3 seconds to go. Smash, 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 smash. There he goes.
Right.
So on 4,300 hit points, he manages to claw a heal back as Kinnymon continuing to put full pins into his superstructure. That is going to keep him health neutral for a little while.
Right. Misama opening up now with the Elbing, trying to give people something else to shoot at.
They've pushed Steel Shadow's Petro through A, but they still don't own A at a point where they don't have any other ships on the board. Like, they don't own any caps.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the decision to do that, but Elbing is coming in to grab A behind him.
Yeah, it just feels like it's coming too late. You're already 150 points upside down. You're only 6 minutes in, and you're going to lose yet another super ship here when the Clausewitz bites it.
Right. 1 minute ago on Clausewitz's heal, his DCP is available, and Misama does have smoke available. It's coming up in 3 seconds.
Okay, so that's why he's here. He's lurking here. Smoke's ready. There he goes.
There it is.
They're trying to preserve this ship and keep it in as best they can. I don't think it's going to matter if they get a fire on it. No, he's still got a DCP available.
He's got a DCP.
1,900, 1,200, 300. No.
Nope.
Simply too many shells as we trade ships here. Kinnymon grabs the Clausewitz as Lala grabs the Elbing. And now now the race is on to the B cap.
Well, yes. And also for 3X, the race is on to just go up the 910 line and murderize these 2 remaining destroyers.
Which is pretty much a given at this stage.
Oh, yeah. That being said, Kinnymon is actually turning around. He's not interested.
I mean, there's no need, right? Like, if you, at this point, if you move back towards mid, your teammates down at B are kiting well. All you have to do is sort of move in a position to sort of cut these guys off or force them to make bad choices as they move through the middle of the board.
Right. So, it was a very promising start with some good salvos from the Venezia, but after that, it's kind of all falling apart for Cats.
Well, and I really like the Venezia pick, too, right? In this kind of lineup, Venezia, those SAP shells, that ship can absolutely be just an absolute predator if she's in the right position. But once the destroyer players know where to look for her, they're like, oh, okay, now I know where not to hang out. And you see that Marcello's been running all game.
Right. He was just on the Petro radar, but again, compared to Moskva, the radar doesn't last long enough to really have that much meaningful damage.
Yes. Yeah, for only 2 more points, I almost feel like you're kind of missing out by taking the Moskva and leaving the Petro. I mean, other way around, taking the Petro and leaving the Moskva.
Right, exactly. Take the Moskva and Hindenburg instead of Clausewitz.
Or something like that. Right. I hear you. 300-point lead and still growing here for 3X.
Vile dodges those torpedoes, no problem.
Torpedoes just and you said this earlier, torpedoes don't feel like they've been impactful almost at all in this game, in this tournament, because of the amount of hydro destroyers around.
And just the fact that there's so many destroyers. I mean, you've got smaller ships, therefore, with tighter turning radiuses.
More maneuverable.
Exactly. So torpedo build just isn't working. You got to be able to do something with your guns to teammates, or to opponents, I mean.
Yeah.
Elbing goes down.
Yep.
Shimakaze is just charging in. They've decided.
Yep. Katz is just suiciding here, basically going to call it. Playing for second, or going to settle for second, I should say.
Yep. Interesting you say it that way, because there was somebody in my chat that said that Cats was sharpening their samurai swords.
You always use the shorter one, right? The Wazakashi, is that how you pronounce it for Harakiri? You don't use the full long blade, it's the short one.
I believe so.
There we go. Obscure historical facts here, courtesy of Zathenrat.
Well, that'll pretty much do it, guys.
Well,
Our final death pick.
Cat's able to take a game off of 3x in the preliminary rounds, but unable to touch them here in the grand finals. 3x with a sweep. Wow.
Yep. And I have it set to the wrong window. There we go. Congratulations goes to 3x for running a pretty flawless tournament, aside from
feels that way.
That one game.
I mean, they lost one game, and if you go back and look, they lost one super ship. That's it.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to know how many matches they fielded as super ship. And of course, we only know they lost one. But we also know they didn't field one every game. So
right.
I'd just be curious to know, like, it feels like just looking at the numbers, they did a better job than most of protecting their super ships.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It does feel that way. So
there we go.
There we go. Well, Raptor, were you entertained?
I was entertained. I had a lot of fun today. This was a blast.